What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. We're going to talk about a few things around Dark Souls today with the Switch. We did get a release date, which is great because we know when it's coming out, right? It's sometime in the summer, right? We're going to talk about that. Nvidia also looks like they're going to be announcing new cards maybe next week, but there's a lot of evidence pointing to that. We're going to go over that as well, which is going to make for a very exciting couple of days with Gamescom, as that's probably going to kick things off on the 20th, so it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun. First, though, let's get into some of the quick news. We're going to start with Spyro the Dragon, as I'm sure plenty of you are excited for the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, which is actually coming up pretty quick. I didn't realize it's actually out in, less than a month or so now, so it's coming up pretty quick now. So, of course, merchandise, right? That's something that, of course, they were going to do, and it looks like they're doing it in droves. Now, this is all official merchandise, which is great, as it's not knockoff stuff, but some of the stuff they have is fairly interesting. Of course, you have your standard, where you have, like, the mug, for example, as you see here, pin sets, even a set you can get that's in like a little treasure chest. Of course, the Spyro the Dragon wallet, the 3D keyring keychain, and then you also have stuff like the Spyro the Dragon incense burner figurine, which, according to them, as they say themselves, you actually place an incense cone in the metal heat-resistant base and watch as Spyro breathes smoke from his nostrils. Yes, that's exactly how they describe it there. So I guess if you're really into incense burning, you can pick up a Spyro the Dragon figure that will burn your incense and then push it out of his nostrils. Anyway, we're coming up on the release day, of course. It's going to be great. I think it's going to be awesome to see this game come out despite a lot of the issues around it right now, the confusion around the file size and do we download this or that. There you go, merchandise, just another thing for Spyro fans out there. I know there's a lot of you because I see you guys in the comments and even all over the internet, so I'm sure they'll do well with this. And hey, if you wanted a Spyro mug, they have that, or I guess if you wanted to burn incense in style with Spyro, you could do that as well. And if there's one thing that I've noticed, if people say there is a lack of games on the Xbox, the one thing there's not a lack of are controllers. They seem to come out with controllers all the time, special edition controllers constantly. I see that all over the place, but they announced some yesterday that look pretty awesome. They put this on their standard news posting where they post a lot of Xbox news on Xbox.com. Check these out. I really like one of these in particular I'm going to talk about here, but they announced two different options to pick from: a Phantom Black Special Edition and an Xbox wireless controller that is gray and blue. A lot of people like the gray and blue one. I really like that Phantom Black Special Edition. I think it looks awesome. Now, these are going to ship in a few different waves here, starting with the Phantom Black Special Edition. That'll ship to retailers worldwide September 11th, $69.99. The gray and blue controller will start by shipping to retailers in US and Canada September 25th, and then to all of the retailers worldwide October 9th for $64.99. And you could pre-order them available today. Microsoft Store, of course, or I guess if you have locations around you, like I have a Microsoft Store at my mall, I guess I could go there and pre-order these, but I think I like the Phantom Black one. I like kind of that translucent black clear that kind of fogs up as you go further down. I guess a lot of people really liked that blue and gray model, and I guess it looks a little too much like a standard Xbox controller. I like the idea, though, of that translucent with kind of the gray, so I don't know if I'll pick up either of these because I already have two controllers, but I do know there are people out there who are big Xbox controller collectors, and there you go, they're introducing some more. Again, though, there's really no shortage of Xbox controllers, but there's more to collect, I guess. All right, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into some of the bigger stuff. We're going to start with Nvidia pretty much right away because it does look like they are poised to announce gaming video cards next week. I say gaming video cards because they also have workstation video cards, which was something people were a bit concerned about if that's what they were going to announce ahead of Gamescom. As we know, they have a full event planned for August 20th, and people were thinking, oh, maybe they'll announce, some workstation cards that people at Pixar or something will use, but will never buy them. That does not look to be the case, mostly because they've already announced those cards. Actually, the other day, they announced a whole slew of workstation cards. For example, the RTX Quattro 8000. It's like $10,000. It's insanely powerful, and it's definitely set up more so for workstation events rather than just playing Overwatch or PUBG or Fortnite. No, these are set up specifically for heavy computations that, again, people like, say, Pixar might need when they're working on their movies or other events there with kind of the creative stuff that they do, of course, with their artists and just rendering models and everything. But now that they've gotten that out of the way, and we're coming up on Gamescom, they decided to release a full video that pretty much says, yes, get ready, it's going to be a gaming card, or maybe gaming cards. I'm hoping more so for cards, so we have, maybe a lower price one and then the ridiculous, beast of a card like how we have the 1080. Maybe we'll go up to like the 2080, which is what a lot of people are thinking here, and maybe it'll move up to the RTX line, and we believe it's going to use their new Turing architecture that they've developed and pretty much announced. This is going to, from what we've seen, mostly take advantage of ray tracing, which is a new technique that was announced and really shown off kind of. I remember this at E3 we saw this, and I believe they talked about it a bit at GDC as well, and it's pretty cool. And of course, this is also going to have compatibility with GDDR6 memory, which will work for larger bandwidth and just higher speed memory and everything. And it's looking good if you're a PC gamer, as a lot of people have been waiting for new cards from Nvidia. I believe we've been on like 1080 and 1070 and stuff for a while now. It's coming up, I believe, on 2 years now. So it is exciting to see these, mostly because new cards mean probably the older cards will become less expensive, especially if miners have I mean, the mining craze has kind of calmed down a bit now with Bitcoin and just currency, the cryptocurrency falling off a bit. And now new cards will come out. So we'll see maybe the 1080s, 1070s drop in price a bit. So if you're not really into the high-end stuff, you can, I guess, get some secondhand used stuff as people upgrade, then they sell those off cheaper. Or maybe you want top line, maybe you've been waiting for this. Make sure you tune in August 20th, because they are going to be having a full live event. And yes, it looks like new cards that will take advantage of some of the newer techniques like ray tracing and have that GDDR6 compatibility. Exciting stuff. And of course, I'm sure they'll drop the pricing on us. Expect, if you want top end card, $500 to $600. Hopefully we'll see a $350 to $400 kind of 1070 equivalent thrown in there as well, but we'll see, and I'll keep you guys up to date. Next up, let's talk about Dark Souls on the Nintendo Switch. If you remember, we had this shown to us. The whole Dark Souls Remastered was straight up announced at, it was like the smaller kind of mini Nintendo Direct, sort of, and at the end they showed Dark Souls Remastered, and they talked about how it was going to the Switch and then all other systems as well. It was pretty much going to everywhere, but Nintendo got to announce it on their stage, on their time, and it's technically the last version coming out, which is kind of a bummer, as people were expecting to pick it up day one with the other versions, you pick between them. That didn't happen. It got pushed back. They kept saying summer. Well, it's coming out October 19th. That's my favorite month in the summer. That's great. Actually, why haven't they fixed their banner yet? Because they've already announced it, but it still says it's coming in the summertime, and October is not the summertime. October 19th, though, they put this out in a tweet, and you can see it here, October 19th, and of course that will also be the Solaire Amiibo launching at that time as well. I did see the GameStop opened pre-orders back up for it, and we're also waiting for that online network test that, according to them, will still be scheduled prior to release, so we have to stay tuned for more info there. Hopefully that is also in the summertime. We'll see. Now that'll probably be, I would say this coming October. I would hope that this would be towards the end of September, maybe. So like the last week of September, maybe we can expect to see some sort of network test, which will at least give us an idea at how it plays, which from what we've seen, it's played fine. I do have a strong feeling this had a lot to do with the networking or the online service that Nintendo's putting out, because if you look at it, it's coming out pretty much, from what we can tell, about 3 weeks after Nintendo service is going to launch. That's launching second half of September. And the network test will probably be after that launches as well. So I do think a lot of this seemed to be coinciding with what Nintendo was doing with their online service, something we're still not 100% clear as to what's happening there, and that's out in about a month or so. So who knows with that? My real concern now is, will people still pick up Dark Souls on the Switch? Because this was an interesting situation where a lot of people were definitely deflated to see this be announced on Nintendo's stage, but then get that be the version that gets pushed back over and over again until summer, which is now turned into October. And I have a feeling a lot of people have probably bought into it if they wanted it in the first place, because they probably had to settle for a different version. Even if they wanted it on the Switch, they probably said, well, I guess I'll get it on the PS4, or I'll get it on the Xbox One, or I'll buy it again on the PC. How is that not a free patch, by the way, from Bandai? I'll never know. But that's where I'm kind of thinking here, is that maybe people have probably moved on from this game. I mean, there's really not a lot of hype around the release. There was before it came out completely, and now we're to the point where the Switch version is going to be kind of releasing by itself in almost the middle of October, with games like Call of Duty and Battlefield around it that have a lot of hype. So I need you guys to tell me down in the comments, are you still hyped for Dark Souls? Are you still getting it on the Switch? Or have you kind of moved on and it's new release time that's not actually in the summer, which probably would have been a much better release for this game? Is that a bad time for it for you, because maybe you're looking around it and you're like, well, I need to save my money for the next month when Pokemon comes out, or I'm gonna buy, Call of Duty, or I'm getting Battlefield, or I'm getting Red Dead. There's a lot of games coming out around it, and I'm more so concerned that the hype has died down, momentum has been lost, and people are moving on. I do think if they continue to market this as the portable or the definitive portable edition, they could still probably sell well with it, but it's definitely not going to sell as well now as it could have when it first came out, and that could be an issue. Let me know what you guys think about this. It also has that amiibo which is launching next to it, which I do think will help. People who don't even collect amiibos will probably buy this because they're fans of Dark Souls, so they at least have a few things going for them, but man, I think they lost. I think they really missed out on a chance here with this game launching so much later. Let me know, guys, down below. Next up, let's talk a bit about Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch, on the mobile phones, because there was a pretty eye-opening comparison done by Digital Foundry. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Digital Foundry's comparisons as much because they seem to feud arguments and everything, but this was an interesting comparison because what it really showed was kind of the advantages of known hardware for developers and the advantages of built-in APIs that we see with the Nintendo Switch. It's something you hear about, but you don't really ever see it. I guess the best comparisons in action, because they always compare it to the PS4, to the Xbox One, systems that plug into the wall, that don't run off batteries, and that are generally much more powerful for comparing to the Switch. It was very interesting to see this comparison that Digital Foundry did. Now they have the new getup where they can kind of record portable footage. They compared Fortnite on the Switch to Fortnite on the iPhone 10 and the Galaxy S9 Plus and everything. And the Galaxy S9, just the family there, the Galaxy S9 family, the S Plus and everything, and the iPhone 10, cutting edge hardware, way better technically than the 2015 chip that's in the Switch. However, they seem to find that the Switch version had more detail, more complex environments, and generally ran better, which is interesting because it seems to show more and more that the Switch has more than just the hardware that is built into it. It does have those advanced APIs that allow developers to tap into what the Switch has with the X1, and it also shows, of course, the advantage when you know what hardware you're working on. It was an interesting comparison, mostly because we see it the other way around, where people will automatically see, obviously, resolution with the Switch compared to the Xbox One and the PS4 and frame rate, and it immediately looks like the Switch is just fairly weak. But the hardware that it's actually running, when you really compare it to cutting-edge mobile hardware with the iPhone 10 and the Galaxy S9 Plus, it's interesting to see just, I guess, how well they do with the hardware given with the Switch, and that was just a good example. I would check it out. I think Digital Foundry did a pretty good job there with the comparison, and it's just very interesting to see the Switch with its 2015 chip doing what these phones, that are much more expensive, by the way, do with their brand new chips. Let me know what you guys think about that down below as well. Then our last bit of news, let's talk about Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Since we had the beta for the multiplayer recently, and people were kind of in the middle. Some people didn't like what they played, some people did. I was still kind of in the middle, and the one mode that can really sell me on this game is their Battle Royale take, their blackout mode, if you will, their take on Battle Royale, the craze that is pretty much swept gaming at this point with Fortnite and PUBG. So now here comes Call of Duty, Activision, Treyarch. They're going to see what they can do with the Battle Royale mode, and we know when we're going to be able to try it out for the first time with their beta that's coming to the PS4 first, and that's happening September 10th. I'm going to be checking it out, and I'll see if this is really enough to sell the game, because currently, my thoughts on it, the multiplayer just isn't quite enough to push me over the edge, or I'm sure others, especially with Battlefield coming out the same year, and then of course even the big guns with Red Dead Redemption later on that month. You're going to have to pick and choose, a lot of people will anyway, in October, which game they want, and I just don't think the multiplayer that we played is different enough from something like a Black Ops 3 to make me go, oh yeah, I need this game. Although, if you're a Black Ops 3 fan, you might be all in already. I think this blackout mode is going to be really make or break for this game, and it could be amazing, and then it would give me a reason to go buy it for $60 anyway. So we'll see, but I will do a full video on it. We'll check it out and see if this really is the mode. September 10th, you'll be able to try it out as well in the beta. We'll see if this is the mode that will really sell this game. Then guys, that's where I'm going to leave Newswave today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like the video if you liked it, dislike it if not, and let me know what you think about everything we talked about today, whether it's Dark Souls on the Switch. Is it too late for that game with it coming out so much later than the other versions, and you think it's just at a bad time in October? Let me know if you're still interested, guys, down below. What about Nvidia's new cards? Are you ready to go next week for what we think are going to be a couple of gaming cards? Maybe it'll just be one really expensive one. I don't know. We'll see about that. And then what do you think about Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Blackout mode coming, the beta anyway, in September? Is that make or break for you, or are you already sold on the game? Let me know, guys, down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.